What if I told you that death isn't always the end? Not in the way we think, anyway. Imagine a body, buried for 100 years, exhumed and found ... perfect. Skin still soft, lips a healthy pink, limbs as flexible as in life. This isn't a scene from a horror movie. It's a documented phenomenon in the Catholic Church known as incorruptibility. We're talking about dozens, even hundreds of saints, whose bodies have defied the natural laws of decomposition. Take Saint Bernadette Soubirous, the visionary of Lourdes. She passed away in 1879. When her body was exhumed 30 years later, then again and again, she was found completely preserved. No embalming, no special coffin, just an astonishing defiance of decay. Doctors and officials who examined her were baffled. Her face was serene, her skin intact, as if she were merely sleeping. Or consider Saint Charbel Makhlouf, a Lebanese monk who died in 1898. For months after his death, a strange, bright light was seen emanating from his tomb. When authorities opened it, they found his body floating in muddy water. Yet it was perfectly preserved, supple, and looking alive. For the next 67 years, his body continued to exude a reddish, sweat-like fluid, believed by many to have healing properties. It's an incredible story, documented by medical professionals who couldn't explain it. So, what's going on here? Scientists have, of course, tried to find rational explanations. They've looked for signs of embalming, but in most classic cases, there are none. They've tested for natural mummification, a process where environmental conditions, like extreme cold or dryness, preserve a body. But many of these saints were buried in damp, ordinary graves, the worst possible conditions for preservation. In fact, their clothes and coffins often rotted away completely, leaving the body untouched. The Church itself is incredibly cautious about these claims. Before declaring a body incorrupt, they conduct rigorous investigations. They bring in medical examiners, often non-believers, to rule out any trickery or natural causes. The process can take years, even decades. A body must be proven to be inexplicably preserved, without any human intervention, to be considered a true case of incorruptibility. And then there's another layer to this mystery, the odor of sanctity. Many of these incorrupt saints are said to emit a sweet, beautiful fragrance, often described as smelling like roses or other flowers. This isn't just a faint scent. It's a powerful aroma reported by skeptics and believers alike, sometimes filling an entire room when a tomb is opened. Saint Teresa of Avila is a famous example. When her grave was opened 9 months after her death, a powerful, sweet scent filled the air, and her body was found perfectly preserved. Let's talk about Saint Catherine Labour. She died in 1876 and was buried in a triple-sealed coffin under the chapel floor in Paris. 56 years later, when her body was exhumed for beatification, workers found her perfectly intact. Her eyes were still a startling blue. She looked so peaceful, as if she had just fallen asleep. Today, you can visit her. Her body lies in a glass casket in the chapel of Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal in Paris, a silent testament to this incredible phenomenon. Another fascinating case is Saint John Vianney, the patron saint of parish priests. He died in 1859. When his body was examined in 1904, it was found to be amazingly well preserved. His face, in particular, was so lifelike that it deeply moved everyone present. He too rests in a glass reliquary in France, visited by thousands of pilgrims every year. So, how do we explain this? For believers, the answer is simple. It's a miracle. It's a sign from God, a physical manifestation of the person's holiness, proving that the purity of their soul could somehow preserve their physical body from the corruption of death. It's seen as a tangible link between heaven and earth, a reminder that there is more to our existence than what we can see and measure. For skeptics, the search for a scientific answer continues. Theories range from the formation of adipose sear, a waxy substance that can form on bodies in moist, anaerobic environments to unknown biological processes. However, adipose hair doesn't explain the flexibility of the limbs, the lifelike color, or the fragrant smells. It's a partial explanation at best, and it doesn't fit all the cases. Consider Saint Rita of Castra, who died in 1457. Her body has remained incorrupt for over 500 years. She wasn't embalmed, and her casket was not airtight. Yet witnesses have reported her body moving and her eyes opening over the centuries. She too is said to emit a sweet floral fragrance. How does science explain a body that remains supple and fragrant for half a millennium? This isn't ancient history either. Blessed Carlo Acutis, an Italian teenager who died of leukemia in 2006, is a modern example. He was a computer whiz who used his skills to spread his faith online. When his tomb was opened in 2020 as part of his beatification process, his body, while not completely incorrupt in the classic sense, was found remarkably intact. The church used some preservation and reconstruction techniques to prepare him for public veneration, but the initial state of his body was still extraordinary for someone who had been buried for over a decade. He represents a new generation, connecting this ancient mystery to our modern world. The phenomenon of incorruptibility challenges our understanding of life, death, and the limits of nature. It forces us to ask questions that science can't yet answer. Are these simply rare, unexplained natural occurrences? Or are they evidence of something divine, a glimpse into a reality beyond our own? Whether you see it as a miracle or a scientific puzzle, the story of the incorruptible saints is a powerful one. It's a story of faith standing the test of time, quite literally. These silent witnesses, resting peacefully in their glass tombs, continue to inspire awe, wonder, and debate, centuries after their deaths. They remind us that some mysteries are so profound, they may never be fully solved. What do you think? Is this a sign of divine power, or a complex scientific anomaly we just haven't figured out yet?